Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today. My name is Mel Rose. Today is Friday, May 12, 2023. And Friday is Venus's day. This is the day ruled by Venus, which is our personal planet for the things we like, love, and can't get enough of, the gifts and compensation and recognition and appreciation and affection we like to receive. That's what Venus is all about. And it's appropriate because Venus rules Taurus, which is where the sun is right now. The sun, Uranus, Mercury, and our North Node are all in Taurus right now. So a lot of our lives is around this desire to establish security, connection, material comfort. Venus, these planets in Taurus are answering to Venus in Cancer right now. So that's a very outer life vibe and an inner life vibe, because Cancer is all about the home life and the people that we like to keep close and how we're going to take care of them, how we're going to share with them. So that's really the overall vibe of the day. The moon is the third quarter moon in Aquarius, so we're also called out into our communities from the heart, in our sense of privacy, in our sense of home. We feel very social. We want to go out in the community. We want to collaborate. We want to find our allies and our cohorts, the people that we will work with, especially to bring about the general uplift of the collective. And that third quarter moon, this is the time when we shift gears. After the full moon, we started to reflect on what it is that was no longer working for us, that we could begin to think about getting rid of, right? And now we're at the third quarter moon, so now we're going to take action. Between now and that new moon on the 19th, we're going to be pushing out, actively trying to release the stuff and things, thoughts, attitudes, dispositions, attachments that we have that no longer serve a purpose in our creative cycle. So that when we get to that new moon, we have this nice clean slate to work from. We can bring ourselves back into the present, and then we can begin again to set intentions and goals and plan for ourselves. So we have a few things going on the page today. I'm going to start over here because these are the aspects that culminate today. And Mercury actually sextile Saturn is going to culminate again coming up on next Thursday. Sometimes these things happen because, well, see, Mercury is retrograde right now. It's going to go direct tomorrow. So it's going to go back and remake a bunch of aspects that it's already made while it was retrograde. So Mercury retrograde, though, sextile Saturn today, taking care of business. And this one's going to be with us through about the 28th of this month. So this is especially when it comes to planning, because Mercury is retrograde. So we're reflecting on things. We're thinking about how we'd like things to go, but that doesn't mean that we're necessarily making things go. And that doesn't seem to align very well with that third quarter moon, right? So we're going to be releasing what we can, but we're also just going to be maybe releasing the items that we want to reflect on, right? And then also Mercury retrograde here will be sextile to Venus today, saying what we want, negotiating the gifts, regard, recognition, love, affection, compensation that we want, the stuff that we like to get that helps us feel secure and supported in our lives. And this one's going to be with us through the 19th, so just about a week. But these two also connect, and let me show you on the chart here. Here's Mercury sextile to Saturn here, and Mercury sextile to Venus here, and then Venus is culminating its trine here today with Saturn, and that is a very stabilizing influence, okay? Trine is grace, it is ease, it's the thing that we don't have to worry about because it's going well. And for me, the Venus trine Saturn really just says, whatever I may have been struggling with for the past couple of weeks, especially, whatever I may have been struggling with in my life, especially in terms of what I like to receive and my sense of comfort and security in my life, Saturn this trine vibe comes along with Saturn to say everything's going to be okay, right? Nothing's going to really change that much except for the more stable and the more secure and more safe feeling and connected with our loved ones. So that's a really stabilizing influence. It comes very easily to us. We're a little more optimistic, again, especially if we're going through struggles. There's just this underlying optimism that if we do what we know will work, do those tried and true methods, we will get those tried and true outcomes. And that is the real deal, friends. So that's the vibe that we're working with specifically today. That Venus trine Saturn is with us through the 20th. So about a week and a day from now. So, you know, do what you can to make use of that, understanding that everything is going to work out all right. And especially if we stick to the tried and true methods, Venus in Cancer, of maintaining our relationships at home, of you know, showing love and sharing what we can, being open to give and receive all the things that we like to give and receive, right? Then we will have that stability that we're seeking in our lives. So the other thing I want to point to here is this aspect that's sticking with us. It's more of an aspect shape, and it's going to stick with us for a few days, but it really speaks to some larger themes that are going on right now. And that's, you know, let's talk about that larger theme. First of all, we've got Neptune here, which is sextile to Pluto, right? That's Neptune sextile to Pluto right there on the page. And what we're looking at is this shape here, where we've got the opposition of Mars to Pluto, and then it creates like a cereal bowl or a cradle, right? And then there's these two trines that crisscross it, so it looks really supported. If you turned that bowl upright, it would look, or that bowl or basket or cradle upright, it would look like it was really well supported. And that is the truth. So I'm going to come back to the Neptune sextile Pluto. No, I'm not. I'm going to talk about it right now. Neptune sextile Pluto is this great aspect that has been with us since 1950 and is going to be with us through 2032. And I want to start talking about it more often because honestly, that's only 9 years from now. And this is something that has been in effect for decades and decades. My mom was born in 52 and she's 70. She's going on 71. So this has been in effect for as long as a lot of people alive can recall, right? This has been a lifelong aspect for a lot of people. And it's an aspect where we are concerned, this Neptune sextile Pluto, it's just always there. Sometimes it's stronger, sometimes it's less, but it's that aspect that informs us as who we are in terms of the collective, in terms of, you know, being more in touch with the collective unconscious, and in terms of desiring boundaries to be broken down so that the collective can come close together in spirit, not necessarily physically, but just more in spirit. We can be more on the same sheet of paper, right, when we are working together. So that is the objective of this aspect, and it is something that informs everybody's life who is alive that was born from 1950 forward. And it also informs the lives of people who don't have that aspect in their chart because they've been living under that aspect since 1950. So but just be understanding that we have this underlying current of humanitarianism and of a desire to break down the barriers that keep people separate, right? So, you know, in 1950, apartheid went into effect, and we had the baby boom, you know, and we were in the post-World War II boom. So we had a lot of like development, and for a lot of people, there was an increase in the standard of living, you know, and it was supposed to be across the board. It was supposed to be for everybody, right? But we still have these barriers and boundaries that keep certain people in culture from being able to access the wealth that is abundant in our lives. There's enough of everything for everybody, and that is what Neptune sextile Pluto makes us conscious of. So it also makes us conscious of knowing what the collective is thinking and going through. So if you feel very intuitive in terms of like, oh, I see what's going on here, you know, that's not you, that's all of us. We are not alone in being able to see a crowd of people and know what it's about, right? So that's Neptune sextile Pluto. And then you've got Sun conjunct Uranus here, right? Bringing up surprises, bringing up fun times. Sun trine here to Pluto, Sun sextile to Uranus, Sun conjunct Uranus, Sun trine to Pluto here. This moment we're going through where we have a lot of exciting changes and upgrades and changes in perspective coming to us is really in a grace, in a sense of grace and ease with our collective unconscious and our yearning toward transformation, especially for the human collective. Sun conjunct Uranus is asking very loudly right now, what is my role in the human collective? You know, like, where do I fit in? how am I connected to the collective unconscious, and what can I do with that information to, to bring my own uplift and to bring uplift to my community, my family, my community, my collective, right? So, here we are divinely supported, right? In Mars trine Neptune, making good trouble, making waves, speaking up, standing up for what we know is right, standing up for people who don't have a voice, standing up for people who get marginalized or have their microphones turned off when they're, participating in city council sessions, as an example, right? Because I see a lot of that happening, or even in state legislatures, just, the conservative leadership turning off the microphones or finding a way to silence the dissent that says, hey, look, what about the rest of us? Hey, look, what about everybody else, right? So this is going to take some strategy and action. And this is just a vibe that we are working with, that we are thinking about, like, what is it about the collective uplift that we can be working to achieve at this time? And, Mars is opposite to Pluto here. So Mars is saying, I want to go do something. I want to be active, right? And it's in Cancer. It's going to move over into Leo soon. It's going to be a lot more direct and capable than it is in Cancer. A lot less dependent on the mood or the whim, because the mood's going to be really good when Mars is in Cancer. But here in opposition to Pluto, it's like, I want to take action, and I also need to reflect, right? Because Pluto is retrograde. I also need to be working on myself. I also need to be tapping into that collective unconscious to see where I fit in, to understand my place in things. If your role in this, in this generation, in this effort, this worldwide effort that is coming up to really make things better for everybody, right? But contribute to the collective uplift, to contribute to equity among people, then there are things that we have to work on in ourselves. And if you consider that your role is like the person that is isolationist and is only about me and mine, then your role is probably to open up a little bit and figure out how you can help other people so that you can be helped. And there's a lesson that will have to be learned, right? There's an experience that will have to be had for you to even realize that that's what you need to do. But if your role is that you're already tapped into that collective unconscious, and you're already very concerned about the conditions under which people live or are made to live in in our modern culture, right? If you're already very concerned about that, then your role is different, right? And your role is to speak up, to stand up for what you know is right, to show up physically and take actions that show that you are here to stand in the way of people being bullied, people being excluded, people being silenced, people being outlawed, right? This is the time. If you consider yourself an ally to a cause of any group of people, I'm in the queer group. I'm an LGBTQ, right? So definitely that's one of the causes I'm most concerned about. But I'm also, very concerned about, fighting for anti-racism, and I want to show up and stand up for people. I want to show my face and present my body and say, look, I'm not going to allow these injustices to happen where they are happening. So, keep that in mind. We all have this sense of injustice with us. And I think that comes here with that Neptune sextile Pluto too. Everybody has a grievance. Everybody has a sense of injustice. Everybody recognizes that things aren't fair. It's just that some of us think, oh, it's not fair for me, if I have to support all these other people. And then other people realize, like, look, if everybody isn't supported, then you're not going to get the support that you need, right? So there's this sort of circular reasoning that this wheel that we keep going around in terms of the collective. If we take ourselves as being one thing, of being one body, we're of two minds about it right now. That's really interesting, because there's nothing going on in Gemini right now, but the sun is going to move on in Gemini soon. So we're going to be examining the two minds we are of that. We're going to be really reflecting on it and thinking about what kind of conversation we have to find common ground. Okay, so this is all about what can I do to find common ground? What can I do to understand my role in the future, my role in the uplift, my role in, the advancement of human culture to a point where, we don't have to destroy one another or our habitat, or anything at all in order to, get along well in the world for ourselves. Well, so that's my soapbox for today. And I think that's all I have to say. Coming up next Friday on the 19th, we'll have that new moon, and that new moon will be in Taurus, right? Because we had the Aries new moon at the beginning of the month. It was the second one of the year. That's an unusual thing. It's just an occasional thing that happens, but we normally get one new moon that matches the sun sign that we're in every month. And so this will be the new moon in Taurus, and that'll be our clean slate, and we'll begin to make our plans again from a place of wanting to establish security, connection, and material comfort right before the sun moves on into Gemini. Coming up tomorrow, Mercury goes direct. Yay! Right? So if you're one of those people who struggles with miscommunication, with tech not working, with, road rage, those kinds of things, when Mercury is retrograde, tomorrow Mercury goes direct. It will still be in the shadow, which means it'll still have to retrace the steps that it made backwards before it gets back on track. But things should smooth out. It should get a little easier for us. And then coming up on Monday, we're going to discuss again this Mars trine Neptune, this good trouble vibe that we're dealing with, okay? What kind of good trouble are you getting in? Please let me know in the comments below, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for being here.